And so I just kind of wanted to introduce myself for a minute. I'm Keri. I guess I'm one of the founders that was here in the very beginning. Our family's been part of iFamily for a long time. We haven't been here for the last couple of years though, so I feel like there's some faces that I don't know. I wanted to maybe just do a little roll call because I kind of wanted to know like how long you've all homeschooled. Only I wanted to do it kind of backwards. So I think I'm just going to start at like 5 years. So if you have homeschooled for under 5 years, will you please stand up? Yeah. Yeah, so everyone else here has homeschooled for longer then. Great, that's awesome. So to start with, I thought that so just to give you just a little bit more background. So I have 6 kids. My oldest is 25, and most of them are out of the house. I still have my Lincoln, who's 13, and Sadie, who's almost 18 at home, and shortly is going to be flying the nest. But I asked my kids last night, my older kids that are at BYUI, if they would just send me a little blurb about what their feelings were about iFamily. And so I thought that it might be interesting for you to hear what they said. So my Sadie, who is the one that's almost 18, she said, iFamily has done so much for me, from teaching me social skills to learning how to push myself to study and grow more, mentally and in academics. I love the social life it gave me and how much I felt included, accepted, and loved. My mentors were some of the biggest role models in my life. I did not think I was going to get emotional, so sorry. And I don't know where I would be without them. They helped me improve my talents so much and showed me so much love and were insanely patient with me. I am so grateful for the opportunity that I've had to attend. I'm really sorry. So my Austin, who is 23, said, iFamily gave me a safe environment to interact with other kids my age, as well as a place where I could learn to interact with kids of all ages as well as adults. iFamily was always one of my favorite parts of my week. I always felt that the teachers, parents, and were teaching really cared about me and about my personal advancement as a young adult. It helps give me a healthy respect for all people. I was always encouraged to treat everyone with kindness and respect, even though there were so many different ages and backgrounds. This has had a large impact on my life and continues to guide me to this day. I want you to know that I asked them to tell me these things while they were country dancing. So this was like a 3-minute, like, okay, Mom. And then Tanyan said, I am forever grateful for this wonderful community of people that iFamily has given me. It has given me the opportunity to fill into my shell, to figure out who I am, and to be proud of who I am. This organization has given me the ability to meet people and to be comfortable introducing myself to people. The foundations and belief of it is built on, and that were prayed about for over many months before coming to fruition. It has been an amazing safe haven for me in my life. So I just thought those were beautiful from my children, and it kind of encompassed what iFamily means to me. I have a tender place in my heart for iFamily. I just want to thank all of you as mentors because you are really the power and the energy that kind of keeps this train moving. You know, there is no way that this could continue without all of you being willing to step up and teach our youth. And I'm so grateful to those who have influenced my children and the children that are here. So I had a couple of questions come to my mind, and here they are. So why did we take so much time creating the vision, mission, and bylaws? 2, why is leadership education so important to us? And why was every word of the vision and mission prayed about and fought for? So I just wanted to give you a tiny little background of how we came together. So in the beginning, we were just scholars. It still is the focus, really, of iFamily. We only brought Love of Learning classes in because of traveling and childcare logistics, and the idea that we kind of needed a place to have our little ones. And so even though our focus is still on scholars, we still have created this amazing thing where we can all bring our kids and everyone is just really thriving. So here's what happened. A lady, some of you might know her, named Rachel Kepner, she felt prompted to move back to Idaho from Arizona. And she was like, I don't know why I'm here, but I'm here. So then her and another lady named Mary Black got together and decided they were going to do a couple of classes. And all of a sudden, all these people came out of the woodwork that we really didn't even know were here. And they did Shakespeare, and then Mary did a leadership class. Does anyone remember what it was? I think it was just leadership. And 6 months later, Rachel moved back to Arizona. And this is what I believe. I believe that God gathered us. We didn't even know we were all here. And I'm so grateful to her for following that prompting to come, because I really think that the biggest reason that she came was so that we could all be gathered. And Aeschylus said, from a small seed, a mighty trunk may grow. So as we were gathered, this is what I learned. Number one, that God loves us and he wants us to succeed. He cares about us as parents and the desires in our hearts that we have for our children. Number two, he cares that we have community. He does not want us to do this alone. He wants us to have a community for our children, but also as parents who support each other in all aspects of life and give heart to our community. And three, he wants the beauty of what we have here to continue. So I want to go back to why we took so much time creating the vision, the mission, and the bylaws. When we first started meeting to create the vision and the mission and the bylaws, I think we met, was it Diane Jepson that said to us, I would look at why other co-ops fail, because we really did not want to fail. And so what we started to find was the reasons why. We went across the country, we went everywhere, trying to figure out why other co-ops and groups failed. And so one of the reasons that they did fail is sometimes because the board didn't change. The board stayed the same the whole time, so it kind of became like this aristocratic thing. Sometimes the leadership became stagnant and it just ended, or it became overreaching. Sometimes they would have a paid leadership and they would have ulterior motives. And there were sometimes struggles that came because they didn't know how to accommodate growth, which we can understand. Sometimes those who were running the mom schools were disenchanted because of the lack of ownership that they were given. But probably, I think anyways, the biggest thing that we found was that they didn't have a clear vision and mission. And so we wanted to make sure we did. And so what we did is we looked at all of those things that made it so that other co-ops didn't succeed. And we attempted to create and answer all of those questions. I forgot to number my papers. Okay. And make sure that we had policies and procedures in place that would make it so that those things didn't happen. What we didn't realize is that it would take us a year to do it. And so, but it was important enough to us to meet again and again and to just keep pushing through so that we could create a really solid, strong foundation where everyone would know exactly what was expected of them and what they needed to do. So I guess the question is, what has happened since then? And what has happened is that we really have become a niche across the country. People have moved here to attend iFamily, and we've reached our 10th year with very few alterations to the bylaws, and those that have been made because of growth have been alarmingly, just made it so much better. I haven't posted it yet, but a few months ago I actually was involved in sharing at a conference that was meant to encourage those who were seeking to build their own learning communities. And so I spoke about iFamily and how it's structured. And I just want to say that if we can keep it, it will continue to be a light, not only to us here, but to those outside of our homeschool community. So, my second question is, why is leadership education so important to us? When we were first starting to write everything and figure out how this was going to look, there were a lot of educational facets that we could have chosen. In fact, many of us actually have, probably like you do, other philosophies of homeschool that we buy into or that we appreciate and respect. But the TJ Ed leadership educational principles and the LEMI projects that support them was what to us felt to have the strongest basis of leadership education that we agreed on. And so, one thing to remember is that we can all still add other philosophies into our own homeschooling, but coming to iFamily doesn't prevent us from doing that. But having this core philosophy that is established in iFamily creates a common language that everyone can communicate with, that we can be united on and grow from. I wanted to, this is the Leadership Education book by Oliver and Rachel DeMille, and I just wanted to read just a couple of things that they have said. And I think Cammie's going to maybe cover this in a little bit more depth, but so the three types of education are, first, the conveyor belt education, which is basically what we all have been used to in the past, and it has an emphasis on what to think. The second is professional education and experts, and it often will teach you when to think. But he said, third, leadership education trains thinkers, leaders, artists, inventors, citizens, entrepreneurs, and statesmen. It educates individuals how to think, and it teaches them why it is important. Robert Hutchins said, this type of education is the education of free men in the knowledge and skills that are needed to remain free. And one of the things that was really powerful that he said here is he said, we believe that the most important of the three types is leadership education. Without an effective system for training leadership, the other two vital systems and the free society that fosters them cannot be perpetuated. And I thought that was really powerful, that even though those other systems exist, that we have to have this leadership education in our communities in order for those others to thrive. So we also knew that the 7 great or keys to great teaching applied to everyone and could be a guide for those who might be beginning and coming away from that traditional conveyor belt education system. So those twofold keys are the great teaching methods, which were classics, not textbooks, mentors, not professors, inspire, not require, and structuring time, not content. And then on the other end of those were the leadership methods of quality, not conformity, or that excellence, thought of excellence and not following the norm. Simplicity, not complexity, and you, not them. Basically us learning with them. So in creating iFamily, we knew a few things. We had confidence in the power and the ability of parents to guide and facilitate the learning of their children. And we believed that we could assist them in navigating their internal world. We knew that the greatest success came to those who took part in their own education, and that leadership education is an individualized thing. that you take ownership of. We believe that our children are amazing. Sorry, I knocked my water over. And that they have extraordinary potential to be leaders in their own sphere of influence, especially if we invite them to do so. But we didn't just believe these things because we loved our kids. We really believed it. We really did. We do believe that they are powerful and amazing and have great potential. Roger Anthony said, "As a global society, over the generations of time, we have gradually become alarmingly unaware of who we really are and what we are truly capable of. Thus, our true potential lies dormant, yearning to be released to serve us, and in so doing, to help this world become a better place in which to live." So I just wanted to go back to Oliver DeMille really fast. So he said leadership education is based on two key assumptions. First, leadership education presupposes that each individual was born with a unique and important individual mission and a vital role which he or she can do like no one else. Leadership education consists of discovering, preparing for, and fulfilling this mission. Second, leadership education recognizes that every person is a genius, literally. Each and every person is not merely a predetermined upper echelon, but was born with natural talents, passions, desires, interests, and abilities to fully accomplish his or her mission. But it is inside, some people choose not to develop their genius or are stunted in an environment that does not nurture their optimal growth. But it is inside each and every person that you have ever met or will ever meet. The ultimate goal of leadership education is the development of the inherent genius inside each student. So leadership education is not just for the few elite. It is for everyone. Every person has a mission and a potential genius to accomplish it. It is the role of leadership education not to fill students with predetermined sets of facts, beliefs, and processes, but to draw forth from each student the amazing potential and abilities that he or she alone possesses. Great leaders throughout time, such as Socrates, Plato, Confucius, Buddha, Witherspoon, John Hopkins, C.S. Lewis, they were educated in a manner that prepared them to make unique and essential contributions. These educational principles still work. So I think that one thing that is actually still also powerful is that valuable to us is that not only are we helping our children by encouraging them and walking by them to help them become leaders, but that in the process, we actually become leaders ourselves. And that is really a beautiful thing. So we took an equal amount of time also writing the vision and mission. Every word, Tracy, you're here, you can vouch for me, but every word, every principle, every thought was extremely intentional. It encompassed the desires of our heart for the future and for our children and all the youth that would attend iFamily. So sorry if I'm confused here because on my papers I forgot to move them. I was wondering if you could all just pull up the iFamily mission and vision so you have your phones. And I just wanted to read it for you. iFamily Leadership Academy is hereby formed to bring together families for shared leadership educational experiences based on a godly foundation and principles found in a Thomas Jefferson education. We endeavor to provide a synergistic, inspiring mom school environment which will assist children, youth, and adults in gaining the vision, skills, and abilities specific to their phase of learning and their personal mission. iFamily Leadership Academy honors each individual as the steward of his or her own education and seeks to support, not replace the family as the center of learning. The Family Leadership Academy mission is to grow scholars, leaders who love learning and pay the price of greatness, leaders who embody a moral foundation of truth, virtue, compassion, courage, and voluntary sacrifice, leaders who positively impact their families and the world for good while fulfilling their personal mission. So I guess that there was hundreds and hundreds of words that we could have chosen to be part of that vision and mission, and it came down to those. And you know, when I was thinking over the past couple of weeks about what iFamily means to me, I had the word treasure come to me. And so I decided to look up a few synonyms to treasure. And, you know, I found riches, I found precious, I found fortune, I found joy, a prize, cherished. And then I found a synonym phrase that actually really spoke to me and was surprising, but it said, keep safe. And it was kind of just like this powerful whisper, keep safe. And so I guess that I just wanted to say that, you know, iFamily isn't perfect. We have our issues here just like there is everywhere. And we have challenges, but it's an organization that is perpetuated by everyone who takes part, because everyone is taking their turn to serve and to teach, and because we're willing to sacrifice for one another, and it allows us to have, for our children to have what they have, and for us to be here together. I know that it is a labor, and often a very significant labor, but it's a labor of love that everyone puts forth that makes a big difference. My family and my children would not be who we are today without iFamily. It came to us at a time when my children, we loved homeschooling, but they weren't quite getting that connection that is needed. And one of the most powerful things wasn't just that my kids got to come here, but that I got to come here and rub shoulders with mostly women, some men, that I really felt connected to in vision and thought and purpose. And that was powerful to me. You know, as we've had major things in our life, you know, milestones, I guess you would say, for my children, I feel like their iFamily community, their homeschool community is something that has been a strength and a support to them. I just want to end with a thought, and I don't know where I'm at on time, but sorry if I'm going over. With a thought that I gave in my presentation that I gave a couple months ago about iFamily, that when people have a united vision, when they gather as a force together and are willing to work hard to support each other and their community, beautiful things happen, and lives and the world can and will be changed for good. iFamily is special, and so I really kind of have a plea for you today, especially those of you who might be new, to really work to understand what leadership education is, and to grow and to love the vision and mission of iFamily so that you can be a piece of something that is powerful and special. It's my hope that we can keep the vision and mission of iFamily intact so that it can keep its integrity and can continue to bless others. Let's keep it safe. So I love you all so much. Thank you for having me.